KCSN Live Postgame Show here on Kansas City Sports Network. I'm Joel Penfield. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We are live after the game at Kauffman Stadium, home opener for the Kansas City Royals against the Minnesota Twins. Win this game 3-1. I appreciate everybody that is watching this live. If you're listening to this on the other side or watching later, thank you very much as well. Anytime I'm out here at Kauffman Stadium, if you guys follow me on Twitter at JT Penfield, I tweet from the ballpark. I just post videos. Stuff goes out on the KCSN feed. That is an indicator that we will be live here post game after all of the availability. So let's go ahead and get into this one. Bit of a interesting just because all the offense came from home runs, low scoring game. Started out Chris Bubich. I thought he pitched pretty well. So admittedly, he said it wasn't his best stuff. He didn't have his best command, but really got dialed in those middle innings, was really efficient. Only threw 75 pitches in 6 innings. And again, for his first start with that's 3 in a row with Waka, Lugo, and Bubich all pitching really well. And just showing once again that this rotation is going to be a huge reason why this team is going to be successful. Now, there's other things that need to go right as well, but this is a good start for where the Royals are going to be at least right now as things get sorted out. Chris finished, he got through 6, only gave up 2 hits. One of those was the home run to Matt Wallner, but after that, he really settled in. 1 earned run, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. One of those walks was early. I think he faced 1 over the minimum from the time he gave up the home run through the 6th inning. So really settled in nicely and got to a place where he was able to give this team length when they really needed it. Without Matt Strahm, without Lucas Erceg available, throwing back-to-back days, they needed the length from Chris Bubich to be able to keep the pen going, especially off day tomorrow, and they don't have another off day until the next. They need the starters to continue to go, and it's kind of tricky at the beginning of the year. Pitch counts aren't all the way up, and it kind of puts you in a tough spot sometimes. But with what Bailey Falter was able to do on Friday night, giving them 3 innings, and then Waka getting through 6 and Lugo getting into the 7th, it's helped lengthen this thing quite a bit. And Mears was really efficient. Daniel Lynch was really efficient, and Schreiber only threw 15 pitches. So all those guys are set and available and ready to go as well. So the pitching was really, it was the big reason why the Royals won this game, because the offense didn't do a ton outside of the couple of home runs. We'll get to that in a little bit. I was impressed with Daniel Lynch out of the bullpen. Again, 9 pitches, super efficient. Got a strikeout to begin, and then after that it was a ground ball and then a flyout, and that was it. Nick Mears, he gives up a single after striking out the first batter he faced, and then got a double play, got out of the inning, and that was it. 8 pitches with no Schreiber, or no Strahm, no Erceg. John Schreiber comes in for the save, gets 2 quick outs on flyouts to Jack Caglione and right, and then Ryan Jeffers hits a single, and then Matt Wallner grounds out to end the game. Reagans will hopefully figure it out from Josh IQ, and Estevez sounds like you will be given more time. Pitching's been amazing so far. Yeah, save really the blow up in the 9th from Carlos Estevez. Pitching's been fantastic the last 3 games, and I think the Royals are going to be in a really good spot if this is any indication of what we're going to get most days throughout the rest of this season. The crowd was into it from jump, and they stayed in it, and it was kind of an interesting situation because it got a little antsy there because some of the offensive stuff, and we'll go ahead and get into that now. They get the 2 home runs. They get one from Kyle Isbell in the 2nd inning in the top half. That was when the Wallner home run happened that Chris Bubich gave up. Leadoff single from India, 2 flyouts, and then 2-out home run by Kyle Isbell in the 9th spot. And it wasn't a new fences, cheapie. It would have been out with the old ones too. Not much to speak of offensively after that. I think it was 3 consecutive 3-up, 3-down innings. 3 total faced because Michael hits a double and then Bobby lines out into a double play. And just a tough spot. Michael could have, he tried to freeze, but he was already kind of moving. I don't think it would have mattered. The ball was hit so hard, it got right on the shortstop, and he got doubled off, and that was the end of the moment. Not much to speak of after that until Isaac Collins comes up in the 8th inning, or 7th inning, my apologies, and he gets a home run off Funderburk, and again, not a cheapie. 400 feet. And admittedly, and he said it, like, probably all the power that he's got, but it was 400 feet, and really got the crowd back into it, and got them in a good place. Some good at bats today, I thought, in certain spots, but it was kind of inconsistent. Like at the beginning of the game, they made Simeon Woods Richardson throw near 50 pitches in the first couple innings, and then it's not and but they weren't necessarily getting good results in certain areas, and they were taking pitches they probably needed to be a little more aggressive on. They maybe needed be more aggressive early in some counts. A lot of a few looking strikeouts today that were kind of puzzling on pitches that looked hittable, but again, it's tough to tell. But I think this is still some of trying to be selective work counts and trying to find a way to be aggressive and kind of trying to marry those two approaches. And hopefully we'll see more of that as we go. But I think this offense is still a work in progress, as it's pretty clear. It is good to see that bottom of the order production. We talked about that before the season started, that if bottom of the production levels up the offense, then we know what the top four is going to do over the course of 162 games. And if once a week Isaac Collins comes through, and then it's Kyle Isbell, and then it's a Jack, and then it's a Jonathan India, and then a Lane Thomas and a Tyler Tolbert when they're called upon, it can change the complexion of where this offense is at. And it was a tough day for the top of the order. Michael got a couple of hits, but Vinny struck out. He walked twice. Salvi got a single early, but then not much doing after that. Tough day for Carter. And then Bobby just didn't look on time today. Some fastballs that were in the middle that looked hittable. He didn't quite square it up. And then the one he did square up was unfortunately an out, because baseball's a cruel sport. But overall, we'll see where this offense goes. I'm not totally down on where they're going to be. I think they're still doing some good things, and just the results and the process need to match up in certain areas. And then I think we'll end up in a position where we look up and the offense is in a much better spot. But today, to get the production from the bottom of the order in a day where your offense kind of sputtered in some areas, certainly a good spot. I'm sorry, my glasses keep falling on me, and I apologize for watching this on YouTube, but it looks like I have a nervous tick. It's unfortunate. Nick, I think I don't have too much more on this game. We'll talk about some of the opening day stuff, and then maybe any questions before we get out of here. So we're going to throw a break a little bit early here, and then we'll wrap up on the other side of this.
I'm BJ Kissel, founder and CEO of KC Sports Network. Emprise Bank has been with us from the beginning. They were our first network partner, and they believed in the vision of what we were building from the start. I can't speak to any other banks or companies and how they operate, but I can tell you from personal experience and based on the growth of the network you're listening to right now, that if you have banking needs, call our friends at Emprise Bank. We've worked with so many great people there over the years, from Vicky and Aggie to Andrea, Lori, Jackie, Deb, and Aaron, and not to mention so many others that not just supported KC Sports Network, but supported our KCSN Foundation as well. But the best thing that I know is that if I have a question or a problem, no matter how dumb the question is, I know who I'm going to call and who I'm going to talk to, and I know that I'm getting an answer from someone that I can trust, and I know that person is there to help us. That's why Emprise Bank has always been and continues to be our partner in Possible, and they can be yours too. You just have to reach out. If you have a banking need, whether it's business or personal, hit me up. I will connect you directly with the same people that have helped us build KCSN, and that's our friends at Emprise Bank.
Sure, like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. I do appreciate it. There we go. Nick knew exactly what I was going to do. Another comment here we got from Newton Hawk 11. These arms are very good. We'll carry them throughout the stretches, I feel. I do think so. This has been the backbone of this team for 2 years now. They've raised the floor to such a degree with how good the pitching has been that they're going to continue to ride this thing. And hopefully, and if the offense really gets going, then it puts this team in a really nice position for them to be. And Josh IQ said it here: if the offense could be league average with this pitching, we're in it. And I completely agree. Just avoid having automatic outs and lineups like we had last year. Yeah, and but what we have too, in guys that have kind of sputtered out the gate to start the year, is Jonathan India. We know is going to walk at a decent clip. Isaac Collins historically has walked at a decent clip. Jonathan India has. We know what Kyle Isbell can do, even if he's not going to hit home runs like he did today. He's going to lay down bunts. He's going to do the things, keep the line moving, get back to the top of the order. Starling Marte is a veteran. We know what he can do. If he's able to turn back the clock a little bit, then it helps him quite a bit. But as a platoon bat. I think it raises the floor for everything they're trying to do, and just having that level of like base of like where we think they can be is going to keep them in it, no matter kind of as the season ebbs and flows. I think it puts them in a pretty good position. Pre-game, there was one more question here from Jacob Breen. ABS seems like a fun twist. How was it like in the stadium when those reviews occurred? It was actually really fun. It was the first time I've ever been to a ballpark when they've had the challenges. It's been the minor leagues for a couple years, but I haven't been to a AAA game in quite a while. But when there's like this kind of build and anticipation, and everyone kind of waits to see, because it's close. It's a half inch or less in a lot of cases. Salvi had one that was like an inch off the plate that he challenged because it was the ninth inning. He was trying to prevent a 2-0 count, trying to make it 1-1, and he guessed wrong, and it was an inch off the plate. And it looks egregious, but it's not. Michael, very emphatically, it was going to be a 2-2 count, and he thought the ball was down. He gave a very emphatic head tap. The crowd, gets excited, and it was a ball, 3-1, and then he turns it into a double. So I think it is obviously a fun twist, and it gets the crowd into it, gives them an extra level of, another thing to cheer for. I thought it was pretty fun to see in person. I did enjoy that aspect of it, and I think it's been really good to watch throughout Major League Baseball so far in the first weekend. I think it's been pretty successful. Just another way to innovate, another way to keep the crowd into it, a way to get calls correct when they need to be corrected, and still keep the human element of the game. I think it strikes that balance pretty well. I really liked it when we did the live stream on Friday night from the game in Atlanta. I thought that was it was fun to see how it worked in practice, and I thought it was pretty successful. The pregame stuff, I always like opening day. I think the pomp and circumstance of it, over 162, like, you're not going to do that every game, but for the crowd, it was a sellout today, 39,000. For them to see all of that, I thought it was really cool. I always find it cool. It doesn't get old to me. I love coming out to the ballpark. I got here really early and just walked around the empty stadium a little bit and kind of took it all in. I thought the new fences, I thought it looked really good down there. We didn't really see too much of it today because the home runs that were hit were maybe out in the old, with the fences moved back where they normally would have been. So, we didn't see too much of that. I gotta stop messing with that because it's messing with my camera. I'll find a new table for the next time. Okay, Desert Fan. Hopefully Cameron can follow suit. I'm a little worried about his sophomore season. A little bit. I talked about that with Jason Anderson today, that I do think some of the peripherals were not necessarily in his favor, so it is going to be something to watch. But if he's your 5, with the way Lugo, Waka, and Bubic pitched, and what we know Cole Reagans can be when he's right, take some pressure off. Cameron, there was some pressure with him because Reagans was hurt, Lugo was hurt, Bubic went down, and they needed the innings out of him, and he executed it, and he lived up to it, certainly. But it's hard to tell what you can, what a guy's going to be. But if he's your 5 and he pitches to a low 4 ERA, which is kind of what the expected number would show, I think that's fine, because he's probably going to give you 140, 150 innings at worst, and he's probably going to be able to post 30 starts this year. And if he's able to do that at the 5 spot, I think it's still incredibly valuable. Another one from Josh IQ. Have you gotten any vibe on if Estevez is out for a bit, or if they'll go close by committee, go with Ursig? Yeah, Schreiber got the call today because Strahm and Ursig went back-to-back. They threw back-to-back days this early in the season. They're not going to throw them out through the 3 days in a row. No matter how bad you want to win that game, you still have to take the long view over the course of the season. If it was September, those guys would have been out there, but that's obviously not where we're at the season in a must-win spot. I think it's probably going to be Ursig, at least for now. They haven't said anything about Estevez. It sounds like he got potentially some imaging done on his foot. He came in with a walking boot again today, but he was in uniform. He went through a normal warm-up, so I think it's just a comfort thing and trying to get it figured out. They didn't want to use him today as well. It seemed like they wanted to keep him out of there if they could. And I don't think it's going to end up being an IL. I think it does seem like they have pivoted away from the 9th inning, at least from the way that JJ talked about it, from the way Q talked about it, that they don't want that to be the case. They don't want to have him. They don't want him throwing the 9th inning right now with where he's at present. Now that can change if for some reason, if by some miracle or, just the way the season goes, the velocity goes back to where it was last year, even if it's a little bit lower, if it's 95, 96, then it's probably more tenable. But right now at present, it's not. So I imagine the predominant amount of save opportunities will go to Lucas Ursig. If he's unavailable or it's a run of lefties in a lineup, then Matt Strom will get those opportunities. And they're going to trade off the high leverage stuff. And then it becomes a matter of, okay, who else do you trust in high leverage? Potentially Nick Mears can be a guy. If I like the stuff that I saw today, it was a really small sample. I want to see more, but there's some serious swing and miss. There's an ability to get a ground ball. I liked what I saw today in a small sample. And then they still have guys like Berger, Kolick, Steven Cruz, Luinder Avila that they can go to and bring up as well. So they have plenty of options, which is a good sign. I'm going to probably try and keep this to about 20 minutes if I'm able. So I'll ramble here for a minute. Today at the game, after the national anthem, which I always think the big flag and the flyover and all that on opening day is so cool. It always has been one of my favorite things. They brought out, they honored Terrence Gore. They did a moment of silence before the national anthem. And then after the national anthem, they brought out his family. They ran a tribute video for him. And then his son went out and threw the first pitch, ceremonial first pitch for the game. And now I'm glad, shout out to my good friend of mine that runs In-Game Entertainment. She told me that Gore family was going to be there because I would have probably been weeping in the press box if I didn't know. So I kind of knew. And if you've been to the ballpark enough, like they've done moment of silence, honor families before. For some reason, it just hit me different today. And his son, Terrence Gore's son, Zane, goes out there and throws a freaking strike from the mound to Alex Gordon. And I can't imagine I was alone in this. I was fighting back tears. It just hit me in a way that I think some of it is just I have young children. My kids are 5 and 2. Like I can't fathom being away from them and them not having me around, right? So just for those kids, like my heart just ached. But you could tell like his dad was like an angel on his shoulder, just bam, right down the middle. It was one of the best first pitches I've ever seen, and the kid was maybe 6 or 7 years old. It was pretty unbelievable. If you haven't seen the video, go check it out. If you're able to go back and rewatch, I think the pregame show kind of blends into the game. So definitely go check that out. I'm glad I was able to get through that without getting teary-eyed. I was afraid that was going to pop up. It took me about 15 minutes to like compose myself, even as the game is beginning. Like it just hit me different today, and I'm sure I'm not alone in that. After Schreiber threw 22 pitches yesterday, I thought they might try Alex Lang in the 9th today. That's a good point. But I think Schreiber's been a guy that, he's as dependable and durable as it gets. I think the only time he missed time was 24 when he had a weird knee thing. But other than that, he pitched 74 games last year. He's probably a guy that pitches 65 or 70 games. They believe in him and they depend on him. And I don't think, and I understand like getting Alex Lang for the 9th in the home opener, local kid, that would have been cool. But I think we need to see him pitch in a few more games before we know he can handle that high leverage spot. I don't know if he can right now as he continues to build back up and pitch at the big league level. But I don't think we're too far off from that being the case. Before we get out of here, you guys know what we do. If you watch the Chiefs post-game shows, and I did it last year on the One Royal Way live shows. This is a different show technically. We did the Holiday Toast brought to you by Holiday Distillery. I obviously do not have any with me right now, but I will probably have some when I get home. But I'm going to toast game to Isaac Collins, specifically first hit for the Kansas City Royals. It was a big insurance run late in that game. Gets him off the schneid a little bit. First hit of the season, in fact. So I'm going to toast game to him because I think he really needed it. The way that fans are starting to talk about it a little bit, 4 games into the year, not ideal. He had some rough at-bats. He had a rough one where he watched fastball down the middle on strike 2, but then for strike 3, and then he comes back with the home run, put them up 3-1, give them a little bit of a boost and help them win this game. So toast game to Isaac Collins, and the Royals get their win, and they're 2-2. Tomorrow, Noah Cameron will be on the mound for the Royals, or not tomorrow, it will be on Wednesday. Weird off day Tuesday. Wednesday, the Royals will be back in action. Thursday day game will be a live post-game show for that game as well after that one is done, and that one I will not be here, so it'll be right after the final out is recorded, thereabout. And we'll let you guys know when that one goes live as well. I'm going to record a longer episode tomorrow with some of my thoughts over the first 4 games. That will come up on Wednesday morning, so be on the lookout for that. I think that's going to do it for me here from Kauffman Stadium. This has been the KCSN Live Royals post-game show, and I will talk to y'all soon. Have a good one.